You're still getting error in a couple of places here. If I press here now, let me click here. All right, withdrawn. So there are few events we've not defined: repaid events, withdrawn events. So I will just come up here where we define our events, and I'm going to define all of our events here, and everything seems to be okay now. So after a long while, let's try and compile this contract and see if it compiles. I'm going to run forge build. That's the command to compile our contract in. Okay. The good thing is from the contract itself, we are not getting error. The error is from the deploy script and the interaction script. So let's go there and correct where the error is. It's actually here. Now you would see that in the contract itself, our constructor accepts 2 parameters, but we are only passing 1. That's the error. So we need to specify the second parameter. We're going to come here and define the second parameter, which is the contract address of our moonwell controller contract. So we are going to pass it into the contract here, and it seems okay now. Now to resolve this second one, let's just comment out all of this for now, the interaction scripts, because we have a lot to do in this script. I'm going to clear this and let's try and compile again. Hopefully everything works well now. And what do you know? Everything works well. All right. The next thing is for us to test our deploy script. So this is deploy. Okay, I need to start another terminal, open another terminal and start our local blockchain. That's make Anvil. Seems all right. It's up and running now. So I can come back here now on the first terminal, and I'm going to run make deploy. Make deploy deploys our contracts to the local blockchain here, and it seems to be going. It's still going. It's still compiling, and it seems it has been deployed. Wow, that's great. So the contract address is this, and the gas spent for deployment is 2.2 million. That's not bad. Proceed. There are a few other functions, helpful functions that we need to add to this contract. They are quite important. The first is this enter market. So this is the external function. The internal function itself calls the controller contract and call enter market function on it. This enter market functions tells Moonwell that this particular M tokens, array of M tokens we supply, are the ones you want to borrow and repay, are the ones you want to interact with. It will help Moonwell to calculate our liquidity. So this is quite important. The next one is supply assets. If you want to make deposits without using flash loan, so we call this function. So this is quite important just to top up our deposit in the protocol, just if we want to increase our deposits without using flash loan. Borrow assets is if we have excess liquidity and we also want to borrow against it without using flash loan. That's why we have this. All right. The final one we need to do is we also need to get our health factor. We need to be able to know the how good the ratio of um our collateral is to the borrowed amount. So this helps us with that. I'm not sure if I've explained the withdraw supplied asset function. This is quite important. This is what the function that helps us to redeem our deposits. So the first thing is for us to get the liquidity of our accounts, how much we have. This liquidity tells us how much we have deposited in M tokens in Moonwell. Short for is if we have insufficient liquidity there. So we'll check the error value. It has to be 0 to show that it's okay, that our call here was successful. I don't think we need to test this, so I'm just going to comment it out, and then we can redeem. So this was the function we called earlier up here. Let me just search for it. Yes, up here. That's okay. Receive ether. By default, contracts in Solidity cannot receive ether. You can't send ether to a contract address except you implement this function, receive external payable. So should we need to also deposit ETH in Moonwell, then this will be quite important. Then you have an internal function to send ether to where we want it to be. So I'm going to implement an external function for that. I'm going to implement the withdraw function over here, the ether function. So this can only be called by the owner of the contract, and it can help us send our ether in the contract to a defined address. I'm going to rename this withdraw. No, there's another withdraw function here. Yes, I'm going to rename it to withdraw token. Yeah, token to wallets, because it only sends the token to the owner's wallet. Okay, so this one can be withdraw ether because we can specify the address, the receiving address. I have rearranged these contracts. I didn't refactor anything. So all I did is to put the constructor first and the receiver function. Then we have the external functions, ensuring that all the external functions that are view functions. View functions are functions that are not making any, they are just reading parameters. They are reading state variables from the contract. They are not making any state changes to the contract. So all of those view functions are at the bottom of their category. So a good example is this function now, get external function, get health factor, all right? So the view functions are at the bottom. Then the next one is public functions. Yeah, so we only have 3 public functions. Then the internal functions. Again, the internal view functions. Okay, we don't even have internal view functions. So these are all the functions well rearranged. So we have made a lot of changes. Let's compile again and let's see if we will be able to compile. So we are running Forge build. All I did, I'm using Mac OS. So just press the up button and it will show you your previous command. Run forge build, and it seems to be compiling. Yeah, it has compiled. Let me clear this. Now, this was the local blockchain we were running. Let me restart it. So you use if you're on command, if you're on Mac OS, you use command Control C. So I'm going to clear the terminal now by right clicking and selecting clear. So I'll press the up button and run make anvil again. I've restarted the local blockchain now. And don't forget that we are actually forking base mainnet. So you can see the RPC here I'm using. So I'm just forking it locally. So let's run the command. Let's try and deploy again. Make deploy. Hopefully it still works. And we can follow it here. See, it's running, calling storage. Yeah, we have the transaction receipt. And we have the contracts created. So let's come back here. Now we can see the hash, the transaction hash. We have the contract address. The gas is now 2.8 million here to deploy this contract.